What up, Casey? I'm John. That's Casey. We're back. It's Triple Cross. What's up, buddy?
Hey man, how's it going? You're right about that. Those are our names.
I just
I
said a
am
bunch of
Casey.
facts.
You are John.
I just said a bunch of facts. I saw the Barbie movie last night. Have you seen that yet? Have you seen that one yet?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, no, I haven't. But tell me about it, please.
I know you've been dying to see it. They basically so Ken's whole thing is he just says like a lot of facts about himself. Like I'm Ken. I
Yeah,
That's Barbie. Like that's like at the beginning of the movie. That's basically his like frame of reference. Like I'm
love
Ken.
it.
I'm a good beach. I'm good at beach. Like that's all he knows. So I was just saying facts about triple cross, Ken style.
I love it,
Uh,
dude. I mean, that's on brand for Ken. That's on brand for us. Do you think Ken is a like an NFL guy, a sports fan?
I think Ryan Gosling's got to be. You know what I mean?
Even like he's Canadian, right? You think he's like CFL over NFL, or is he just
No,
into like
no.
hockey?
Who's CFL over NFL? I don't think
I
anybody's
don't
that.
know.
I
People
don't
who
think
play in the
anybody's a bigger
CFL.
fan of the Canadian Football League than the NFL. I don't think
People
that
who
exists.
play in the Canadian Football League and their parents, maybe.
Mm, yeah, I actually don't even think they're bigger fans of the CFL than the NFL. I think they're bigger fans of the league they don't play in.
Maybe maybe that's true. Actually, the more I
Yeah,
think about it,
yeah,
that
it's
that could be
definitely
the
true.
case. You might be right
Yeah.
about that, John.
Um, okay, Hannah, getting us right into it. She thinks the Eagles' defense is a little suspect. That's an interesting statement because I think the Vikings' defense is a little suspect, if I'm being honest. Casey, while I was watching Barbie, while I was watching the Barbie movie, what were you watching? Were you watching some football? What were you seeing?
Yeah, man, I was watching the Eagles. Um, they, I was watching the Eagles beat the Vikings on Thursday Night Football. That is, and the Eagles, I don't think have quite like resumed where they picked up, like where they left off last season. They kind of look just kind of watered down is the right expression, I think. Kind of
Huh.
waterlogged, which still kind of let
Waterlogged.
them
Okay.
go like beat the Vikings somehow. The Vikings kind of look terrible, if I'm being honest. Their run game didn't look good, defense not so hot. The only silver linings at all is that Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson did, perform for fantasy players out there. But it was like late. It was last two drives maybe, and just forcing the ball to Jefferson, and it just makes you wonder, like, why do they throw the ball really to anybody else or even run the ball at all?
Yeah, Hannah said that she thinks that defense looks a little suspect because they got lit up by Cousins and Jefferson. I guess my question is like, did you not know you knew who they were? Yeah, I mean, like, you have a book on them, but there's just certain people like you just know you got to let them get theirs. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, Justin Jefferson's going to catch passes, he's going to get yards, and you just got to be able to like win anyways. And the Eagles did clearly. Um, kind of a plan A1 is just throw the ball to Justin Jefferson and his general vicinity and see if he can make something happen. Uh, he's got that vibe. He's got that similar vibe to like kind of how Randy Moss was, or how he's a deep threat, but he's not like Randy Moss was a pure deep threat, but just sort of that vibe of like kind of throw it around me and I'll figure it out. So I
Right.
mean I don't think that. I think he's going to make. I think that Cousins and Jefferson are going to make pretty much every defense look about like the Eagles defense, but that doesn't mean they're bad. It's just like, yeah, those two. Unless you double, triple cover them and leave yourself exposed in other areas, he's just going to kind of get his. And that doesn't mean they're going to win games though.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating watching the Vikings offense go when certain parts really work well and other parts aren't working at all. It feels like by the end of that game, Jefferson Cousins having a good game, that should equal team success based
Mm.
on how much that's their identity. But maybe it's not enough. I think they need to lean into it even more. And the Eagles, I think we're really watching them just like gear up, slowly become that team that they were last year. But I'm imagining some team who actually wants to put it to them is gonna kind of kick them on their butts here in the first 10 minutes of our
And they're
recording on YouTube.
kick them right in their patooties
Yeah, right in their rear ends. They're gonna sit them down right in their bottoms.
and their
I think that's what's
bottoms and
gonna
their
happen.
bums.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Those are a bunch of bums.
Chris Vance said in Playback, only thing with the Vikings, they're always in games, never blown out, always have a chance to win. Vikings fan here, disagree with that. This is actually, I will say this is one of the better performances I've seen from Kirk in primetime. He's usually like
Yikes.
just awful. And I think that the Eagles actually blew them out last year in primetime, like multiple scores, many scores, like 4 or 5 touchdowns. If I remember right, they got just manhandled by the Eagles in primetime. So I guess you could say it's better, but yeah, I mean, it's discouraging as a Vikings fan. I think it's just kind of like, I don't, are they good? I don't really think they're good. And I think they really like had a lot of games last year that flipped their way. But a loss to the Bucks, a loss to the Eagles in the first 2 weeks doesn't have me hopeful. I will say that Kirk Cousins through 2 weeks is currently on pace to break the single season passing yards record. So I guess that's cool. He's on pace to throw for about 5,900, almost 6,000 yards. Peyton has it in 2013. He threw for like 5,400 or something like that. But it's not going to matter if Tua throws for 7,500 yards. I'm just saying Kirk's on pace through 2 weeks. All right. It's one thing to be on pace through 1 week. See what Tua does on Sunday. So I guess it'd be a cool consolation prize. But I think it's interesting because when it's your team, you don't really care about like the individual performance. Like I don't care that Kirk and Justin Jefferson went off. And like you were saying before, I don't really care about the Vikings team success as long as Kirk and Justin Jefferson perform for me in fantasy. I'm like opposite for me. Like I don't think you'd feel do you feel the same? Like Christian McCaffrey went off in fantasy, but the Niners lost.
Well, I mean, that's so bad. Like, I get what you're saying completely. Yes.
Yeah.
I just happen to have that perspective of not a Vikings fan.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. So flip the perspective.
I get you. I get where you're coming from. I get where you're coming from. This is your time to really
went off.
You're right, John. This is your time to really wonder about like the track that your life is on and just really do soul searching as an NFL fan. Like, is this, what have the Vikings done for you lately?
Nothing this year. Last year they won the division and then lost in a playoff game. And that's pretty much what I expect of them.
Would you ever consider
that?
What would it take for you to consider jumping ship to having a new number 1 NFL team? Like, what would that even look like if it was a possibility? What would that?
I think I'm tied to the Vikings in a similar way you're tied to the Warriors in basketball. Like they're probably my team, and I'm probably not gonna end up jumping ship. But I also just don't care that much either. I'm more of a player fan than anything, I suppose. So, but that said, like. Well, for you, I think a lot of that is tied to Steph too. So maybe that's where the comp ends, because it's not like if Justin Jefferson left or Kirk Cousins retired, I would like the Vikings left less. I'm not necessarily tied to players, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe something like a player that I just really really like, being somewhere else. So this one's hard. I don't think I could ever jump to the Packers, but like if Jordan Love became a top 5 QB. I'd be like, well, now I kind of like the Packers, which is crazy because I'm a Vikings fan.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where it is. I think you've hit the nail on the head. It's kind of like you could fall in love with another franchise, maybe, if just a bunch of stars align. They get a quarterback that you like, then they start doing well, and maybe you look into the team a little bit more, and you find out like, oh, they have this other guy who like. You start building like, oh, Christian Watson is like this phenom, like physical, tall, long, fast receiver. He's the next incarnation of Randy Moss, but he's on the Packers. Then you go like, oh, this kind of feels more like the old school Vikings team that I know and love. That's, I think, when you jump ship to another team. You go, this feels more like the version of the team that I fell in love with than the team that I fell in love with.
I think that's only possible if you're not really a fan, though. So as soon as you do you call yourself a Warriors fan? Not really. You say I'm not really a basketball fan, but if I had to pick a team, it's probably the Warriors.
That's how I say it. I claim the Warriors.
Once you call yourself a fan, you like kind of can't do that.
I think that's where you are, though. I think that's where you are, really.
Yeah.
Especially, like, I know you're watching more football than ever the last few years. You're feeling disconnected from the Vikings. I'm just saying, I'd be interested by the season's end. Like, maybe it's just a what if. Maybe you stick with the Vikings, but I'm curious, like, who would be your other crushes that you're like, the meme where you're like. The guy's probably walking with the girl, and then he does the like turnaround. Like, who's that Who's
Yeah.
the meme? Who's the
The
team?
turnaround girl is probably the Dolphins, honestly.
Oh, interesting. Well, I mean, it's week 2.
Currently.
It's week 2. Let's
Yeah.
like, I mean, if you do end up jumping ship from one team, that can't be like a hasty like after 1 week decision. That's you got to see a
in
season
reality,
going.
I probably won't, honestly, because
I
I've
get it.
called
Hey
myself a
man,
Vikings fan
hey
at this
man,
point.
like let's like come on, quit killing babies here. This is, I mean, come on now.
In reality, I probably won't because I've already called myself a Vikings fan, and so it's like I think once you call yourself a fan of the team, then you're like, oh man, now I can't. How could I ever trust you? You know, like how you
get it.
just gonna switch teams? You can't switch teams. How could anyone ever trust you again?
I get it, man. I get it. I understand.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about some bets we made earlier this week. Some stuff we did earlier this week. Are we talking bets? Or are we talking fantasy stuff?
We're gonna
yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's. So we have a giveaway that we want to explain to
that's true.
Our audience.
So really quick, hit like on the video. I don't know what we're at. I lost the tab. Every 10 likes, we're going to give a $25 gift card away. We are currently at 11, so we're going to give one $25 gift card away. If we get to 20, we'll just give one away kind of live on the show. If we don't get to 20 while we're live, then we'll do the giveaway at the end of the show. So hit like on the video real quick. Also, first link in the description of this video is another giveaway we're doing right now that anyone can enter. It's a jersey giveaway. So it's a signed mystery jersey. We don't know who it is yet. It's not like I'm just not telling you. I actually don't know who the signed jersey is from. But some players it could be are like Pat Mahomes, Travis Kelce. There's even some legends. It could be Ray Lewis. It could be, I can't remember who else, Dan Marino, I think.
There's some other all household names.
Yeah,
well,
all household names. I mean, there's some that are like less and less household names. I think Trey Lance is a possibility. But hey, it's a free jersey.
Household name for maybe the wrong reason.
Yeah, you gonna be mad about a free Trey Lance jersey? I don't think so. Right? We're talking about a free jersey here. So, link is in the description for that, and you can get entered. Pretty easy to get entered, and you can get some bonus entries there. I think you can on the back of that you can actually enter our exclusive giveaway that's on our private community on Grapevine. When you enter that, you'll actually be subscribed to our new newsletter, new newsletter, Overtime Operators. Casey has it up right now. It is a podcast, YouTube show, and newsletter where we talk about making money in sports.
Yeah, this week we talked about Aaron Rodgers' fallout in fantasy. If you have any fantasy conundrums as far as having to fill that spot, that void left by, AR8, I guess now he goes by since his number is 8 on the Jets. We go over that. That's our first segment on that show. If you were subscribed to the newsletter, you would have received this into your inbox. I want you guys just to see it exactly how you would see it in your inbox. So I pulled it up looking just like this. John and I also dive into our favorite week 2 bets, starting off with our game bets here. I guess I can leak them to our Triple Cross audience here without them subscribing once. But you'll want to watch everything we have to say about it anyway, and not just not financial advice, but you don't want to bet these blindly. But this show, we talk about all things making money in sports, whether it's fantasy football, game bets, player props, which we have plenty of here. We have our game bets and the player props down here. We already hit on one of these, John. We smashed the over on Justin Jefferson and his at the point in time that we sent the newsletter. 6.5 receptions was the line, and we told you guys to bet the over. If you would have done that, you would have made some money.
We so we play a game kind of during the OT Op show where we bet with $100. So I took the money line on the Vikings with 10 of my $100. I wasn't that confident, but I like the plus 260 money line. Lost that obviously, but I did take the over on 6.5, or I think at the time it was even 7.5 receptions for Justin Jefferson with 15. So I would have won 15 there, would have lost 10 on the money line. So I'd be up 5 right now. I think Casey's up more than that because he didn't bet the money line. He didn't bet on the Vikings to win or cover the spread. One more. So Hannah talking about the Vikings game here. Pretty sure Osborne scored a touchdown. Yeah, I mean Kirk Cousins was like Oprah out there passing out touchdowns. Like you get a touchdown, everybody gets a touchdown. If you're not a running back, you get a touchdown. If you're on the Vikings, it's just a matter of getting defensive stops, I suppose. The defense is pretty awful, giving up 20 points to the Bucks, 34 to the Eagles. So I think that's really all I have to say about the Vikings game. It's not as fun to talk about games where your team lost. Like
Yeah,
we're
I
kind of
agree.
forced to.
I never like talking about the Niners losing, but
I really
it happens
honestly
every
wonder
once
what
in a
this show will be like if like at some point in the future the Niners are just a middling team, they're not good, or like a below average team even. I wonder what the show will be like at all. Like Casey's like, I don't even want to do triple cross anymore.
Yeah, I'd be like, I retire from the show. I'm done with it. A little bit back to overtime operators here. So yeah, last night
Declaimed.
we
Declared.
declaimed the Vikings money line, the long shot bet of the week. So you kind of knew what you were getting into. We mentioned it
Yeah.
again. This is why you can't just read the newsletter. The newsletter's like your cliff notes. You got to go watch the episodes as well, or listen to them on your favorite podcast apps. We explained kind of the nuance around the situations a little bit more. We told you to kind of bet cautiously on the Vikings money line, but the upside was there. Our bet of the week, our game of the week, the one that we both saw eye to eye on that we liked a lot, John, is this game, the Chargers at the Tennessee Titans. Chargers with a -3. We said bet the Chargers spread. John, I could ask you what you think about that, but I already did on overtime operators. So why don't we
look,
roll a clip
this is
for
so
our
obvious. Yeah, this is so obvious, but we'll roll a clip here. I think I got
let's
it.
roll a clip so that everybody can get a sneak peek of what overtime operators is all about. Chargers at Titans. They're the 3-point favorites. I'll take them to beat the Titans by over 3 points any day of the week. Last week the Chargers, sure they lost, but they lost in a shootout to the Dolphins, who showed the most potent offense in the league last week. So, okay, sure they lost, but it was a tight game. I think that they showed that they're a really good team. The Chargers, I mean, they're just too talented for a team like the Titans in their current capacity to really keep up. I don't think they can keep it close. The Titans still have a ton to prove, and they got themselves in this like scrappy week 1 loss to the Saints, who, I tend to look at the Saints a different direction. They're the team that can grind out those close wins. And I think the Titans are maybe a team that'll crumble in those closer situations. So really, I just see like 2 different classes of football altogether here between the Chargers and the Titans in week 1. And I'll take the Chargers all day. Give the Titans 3 points, give them 4 points, give them 5 points. I don't care. I want the Chargers here. So I'm taking the Chargers to beat the spread of 3 points. What do you think?
All right. Let's come back.
I got you.
Okay, so my question to you, honestly, because as I'm looking at this is definitely the bet we both were like, oh, hold on, like 3 points, 3 points for the Titans on the Chargers. Like Chargers feels like the Chargers are going to dog walk the Titans. Now it is football, it is any given Sunday. I get all that, but the Titans just don't like have much going offensively. And the Chargers have a lot going offensively. So I got to think if the Chargers can put up 3 touchdowns, which they probably can, I don't know. Are the Titans going to score 3 touchdowns all year? I don't in any game this whole year. Maybe if they get a defensive touchdown.
I like the way you said it first. Are the Titans going to score 3 touchdowns all year? Yeah. I like that even better. That's, I think century. The Titans score 3.
The Titans to me feel like a team that averages like maybe 10 points a game. So I don't know. It just feels like a 3-point spread is very favorable. You never know what'll happen, but that was definitely both of our bets of the week. We're both taking the Chargers straight up to beat that 3-point spread. My question to you, I guess, is like, make the case for the bookmakers here. Like, why do you think the spread's only 3?
Yeah, I think that it's a combination of things. So largely we're still early in the year. So lines are going to be closer than they should be, or at least like if you follow football, you follow kind of trends over the last year or two, or even how things are going so far this year. They're just more trepidatious. There's the word of the day, to make the line super large. Every once in a while, you'll see, like last week, I think we had 1 big line. I think this week we have like 2 with a big spread. That's kind of how it'll go. Just slowly, there'll be more and more. This is one of those, they have enough confidence to where they have a big enough spread. And I think that with Derrick Henry, there's always a chance that the Titans go out and score on a couple of their first drives, and then they kind of just go into auto milk the clock mode,
Yeah, that's true.
That's how they're going to win games. They don't have anything else really to speak of. So that's what they'll have to do. And the Chargers themselves kind of coming off of a little bit of a down year. So they need to see it before they really like put their money where their mouth is as far as the line goes.
Yeah, quick reminder, if you haven't liked the video yet, every 10 likes on the video, we're doing a $25 gift card giveaway. We already owe y'all one, 7 more likes to get to 20, and we'll do another one. I also think maybe there's a little bit of a home team favorite. So the betting lines are typically, so if a lot of people see this betting line as favorable, then it'll move and the spread will get wider, because the betting lines essentially are designed so that the sports books don't really lose money. So a lot of it's based on like how many people bet the Chargers on the spread or the Titans on the spread. If a lot of people bet the Chargers, that line or that spread will get wider. So you definitely want to get in on it while it's as narrow as possible. Again, not financial advice, just for pure entertainment purposes here. But I also think that I think part of that, like I'm just theorizing here, just theoreticalizing.
Ooh, you're a
Making up theories.
theoretical.
I'm a theoretical over here. I think that like the general betting populace, like just people who are like, I just need action. Give me money. Put money somewhere. Like to bet home teams. And Chargers are in Tennessee this week. I don't know that really matters that much. I still think that they're just way better. But yeah, I mean, I do think maybe just the general betting populace likes home teams. So I don't know. Maybe that's part of it. But honestly, this seems like a gimme. And here I am saying that, but hopefully we're not eating our words on Tuesday. Hannah thinks the Chargers will blow the Titans out. I think that's where we're all at with this, honestly.
Yep, that is the reason it's our game of the week from Overtime Operators. We're not going to give away every single pick and all the nuance we talked about on that show. After this show's over, go ahead and go over to Overtime Operators. Check that out. Hear everything we had to say about that. And maybe find yourself a couple of bets that you feel okay with, that we had some good points on, that you might want to bet this weekend, just to make it all that much more interesting while you're watching football. Yeah, John, speaking of bets, we aren't going to give away betting advice, but we are going to do our weekly pick 'em this week, because we can't miss our weeks of that. So let's go ahead and dive into this week's pick 'em.
Yucks.
And we started this on the last episode where we both nailed the Thursday night matchup, it looks like. And I am still filling out the rest of the matchups, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Nice.
So
yeah, no, I think even though I bet the money line on the Vikings, end of the day, I've got a big lead on the weekly pick 'em, and hard to just bet with your heart when there's a competition between just you and me at stake, and it's very public and everybody can see it. And right now I'm ahead, so it's I don't want to like take the Vikings when I don't think they're actually going to win. I think the thing about being like a Vikings fan too is that you kind of just have this idea that like, oh, they're probably, well, no, I don't actually think they're going to win, but I guess go Vikes. Like whenever they do win, it's like, oh, that's nice. Good job, guys. Like you're like pleasantly surprised by a win. You're not even that upset about losses. You're like, yeah, that's more or less what I expected.
Yeah, that's a bummer. That's just a bummer to hear about that. But I remember those days, man, not too long ago. That is how it felt every single week with the Niners. We were in quarterback catastrophe, head coach carousel. I mean, all kinds of garbage that nobody wants to have on their team. And at least you guys have Captain Kirk and, some fairly firmed up leadership on the squad.
According to 3 Walk, we're talking about, there's a lot of media buzz about him going to the Jets. Seems like one of those like Thursday, Friday, hey, we're a little starved for content. We need something to talk about on the 24-hour news cycle of ESPN. So let's just make some shit up.
Well, I'll shoot it some bail. I'll shoot the theory some bail. Okay. I think that it's only going to become more and more common that we see that. I think the Jets are a contender in anybody's eyes, or at least they're, 3/4 of a contender in anybody's eyes. They need the quarterback piece now that Rodgers is done. So when it comes to like Kirk going, I mean, they're sitting at 0-2, if I'm not mistaken, right? The Vikings, they're 0-2.
Yes.
So at what point will they kind of pull the plug on the season? I mean, it sounds silly now. If they were 0, I mean, let's just take it to a crazy place. If they were 0-5, I think they're highly entertained by any offers the Jets might send their way. Because I think Kirk is on the last year of his deal, and he's going to be a guy who costs a lot to re-sign. And the Vikings, again, aren't starting the year off that hot. So those are like the components that you're going to need for a team that would be interested in trading with the Jets. I definitely think that's true. And somebody's probably going to do it. Will it be Kirk? I mean, probably not.
What would the Vikings want out of that? They'd want picks, right?
The Vikings would want picks.
Do the
Maybe
Jets
a
have
younger
those picks
player.
that they would want?
The Jets are a little strapped for picks. I believe they still have a second next year. So I mean that's but the part about like getting rid of
Is a
Kirk,
second worth Kirk Cousins? To me, that sounds like a one
it's
second
just
round
not
pick.
that simple. It's just not that simple. First of all, I mean, you're an NBA fan where second round picks sound like cancer to
Yeah,
you.
that's what I was. That's kind of
Which
what I was
that's
saying.
not
Is
the
that it's like
case.
I know they're more valuable, but is it worth a Kirk Cousins?
Yeah, the other thing that's very valuable about Kirk Cousins is, I mean, just offloading him, right? Like, I mean, yes, I know this is his last year, so they don't have a ton in next year, but it kind of like frees you up just for this year and like, oh, we can go, we have cap space filled out. We can go grab somebody else, try them out for a while, see if we can get ourselves a steal. I mean, I don't know their QB depth right off the top of my head, but if they have some young guy waiting in the wings, it sounds crazy at 0-2 still maybe, but at 0-3, then 0-4, it starts to make a lot more sense. Let's say 1-4. Are you that confident they're making the playoffs? I mean, not really, honestly. So I think 3-Walk is onto something a little bit. There's going to be a team somewhat like the Vikings with the quarterback situation, somewhat like Kirk Cousins, that I'm guessing somebody will take the bet on and trade to the Jets.
Betting odds for Kirk Cousins, I don't have it up, but where do you have him in terms of likely targets for the Jets? Most likely
not super high, but he's one that can move, as long as the longer they sit pretty where they are with Zach Wilson and nobody of significance, at least money wise, like contract wise on the roster, the more that the Vikings lose games, the more viable like he swings towards the positive. So if you're in on like a long shot bet that could improve over time, he's a great one, but if you're looking for like the kind of short term, like you think they're really going to make a move if Zach Wilson looks terrible this week, then it's likely not him or really any other week or any other starter right now for any other NFL team. It would just be too obvious that this team gives up on the season to, you can't justify that move to your fan base.
Right. Quick reminder to anybody watching on YouTube, we appreciate you. Make sure you like the video. We're at 15 likes right now. If we get to 20 likes, we will do a $25 gift card giveaway right when we get to 20 likes, basically. Looking at the playback chat here, Razzles says Kirk needs to go back to the drawing board. I mean, Kirk's kind of the one highlight of the Vikings, Kirk and Justin Jefferson. Razzle says Jets are fine.
That O-line's not doing him any favors.
The Jets are fine-ish, but the Jets have sort of traded away their future in a very win-now fashion, right? So if they're going to get it done, they need to get it done ASAP. So, yeah. Rodgers will be coming back, surgery done, now just recovery. He's not coming back this year, though. That's already pretty much confirmed.
Right. And it's still up in the air whether he'll ever come back. But I tend to think the gamer in him will win out.
Yeah, I agree. Dallas is going to destroy New York. I guess he's probably talking about the Jets. I'm like, yeah, that already happened. This is a great prediction. Really good prediction. Yeah.
All right. Let's dive into these picks. One last plug. Remember to jump into the first link in the video description to enter our mystery NFL jersey giveaway. That's brought to you by Overtime Operators. You can see over my shoulder here. This is the thumbnail of our most recent episode. If you do see it anywhere in your YouTube feed as you're scrolling around, make sure you click on it. It has our faces on it. That's just a good rule in general on the internet. If you see Casey and John's faces, click on it. And it'll lead you somewhere good, obviously. So, John, we gave away our money, our betting takes on Overtime Operators. These are for funsies over in Triple Cross, our more lighthearted show where you are absolutely stomping me. Let's give the people a little update. I'm sitting at, I guess it would be 7-10 now, and you're sitting at 14-3 on the season. I'm making you pick every game first this week because you are absolutely trouncing me. So I warned you about that. Let's get into this, John. The next game up on week 2's list of NFL games, Ravens at Bengals. What you got?
So we're gonna go season. Whoever's leading the season picks every game first.
I'm fine with that. I'm down with negotiating too, but I think I picked every game last week first.
Oh,
So I'm at least just
I
returning the
thought we
favor here.
snake. I thought we snaked last week.
I don't believe we
Um,
did. We did last year, but we
mhm,
forgot, I think, last week. So I'm using it at least as my excuse to say you got to do it now at least once. So I'm
okay.
down with snaking in general.
I'm actually
Snaking in general.
relatively certain that we snaked because I remember picking some first.
All
But
right, fine. Then we'll
um,
snake. But you pick this one first.
if you want to go back and confirm, but
Maybe I'm just upset
I'll
about it,
pick
John.
first
I
this
don't
week.
know.
I'll pick first this week. But
You
I
got a
mean,
big lead on me. I'm feeling weird. I'm insecure. Okay. What do you want from
yeah.
me?
If we
Show
went
me
back
the
and
way,
confirmed,
John.
I'm
I
pretty
no
sure we
longer believe
snaked.
in myself as a game betting analyst. This is the hardest thing to do. I think is just pick them. It's way easy to overanalyze. Like player props are my favorite thing, the easiest thing, and I don't think I've missed a player prop so far this season that I told you
Yeah.
that I would bet on. I mean, it's only 3 for 3, and then like picking against the spread a little bit easier. Just straight up pick them, kind of tough. The money lines, that's kind of your baby. It seems like.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I like some of them. I like the idea of betting a little to win a lot, which is
All right,
not probably the best way to bet.
we'll snake,
You
and
want the snake? I mean, I guess
we'll
if
snake.
you did pick, we could confirm, and then if you did pick every game first, I can pick every game first next week.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Let's snake.
Okay,
That's how we
I'll
should be
start.
doing it.
I'll start
All
if you
right,
want.
you're up
Okay.
first. Yeah, I mean, I know where you're going, I
Ravens
think,
at
but
Bengals. I mean, of course, that Bengals just getting freaking nut punched by the Browns has me hesitant.
of
Uh,
course it does.
but like at the end of the day, I do think the Bengals are better than the Ravens, and they're at home. Give me the Bengals.
John says the Bengals. You know what? We could talk all day about this one, but this is just a matchup where I'm always going to go with the Bengals. I feel like unless they show me
Yeah,
something absolutely tragically different, which last week was pretty close, if I'm being honest. But
yeah,
the Ravens didn't look especially hot. They lost J.K. Dobbins, and the Bengals just Joe Burrow can't look that way 2 weeks in a row. I just refuse to believe it. He's too
well,
good.
that's what he did last year.
Dude, it was how many weeks into the season before they started looking like a good
I
team, and
know.
then all of a sudden they look like the best team in football.
And that
So
was exactly what they did to us last year. Is like we're like, no, Bengals, just keep the faith, and then finally when we're like, all right, they've shown us they're not good, then they started winning.
it's crazy,
Um,
these guys and these organizations that millions and billions probably of dollars just flowing through these companies, these teams, that they're obviously just companies. Um, like you would think that the best teams would just come out firing hot always, but it seems like every single year the best teams kind of start slow and they like build for the playoffs, and every single year it looks like they're just taking the regular season for granted, right? Like, are the Bengals really
yeah,
worried? No, but that just means they might start out like 0-3 just to get the drama flowing. I know that's
yeah.
not what they're actually doing, but it feels like that happens with like two top contenders every year. So let's
Yeah,
stick on
no,
the Bengals.
they're that character in the script. You know what I mean? They're that
Mhm.
comeback character in the NFL
I'm
script.
not. I'm very familiar with it as a 49ers fan. That's what we do
Yeah,
almost every year. I'm glad we're not choosing to do that this year. Starting off with a win week one. All right, I'm going to
yep.
bust this one open. Get us back to the NFC action here. Seahawks at Lions. I actually wish I wouldn't have had you start because this one's a way harder pick for I think both of us.
Yeah,
And I don't know which way you're going, and I have to show my cards first. I don't love that. I have a question for you. Does my pick influence your pick here at all?
I don't think
Or
so.
you don't think so? Okay,
No.
well, I don't know where you're going here. I think if I were forced to do power rankings of NFL teams, I think these teams would be back to back. I don't know that for sure because I haven't done that exercise, but it just feels
Yeah,
that way. They feel really similar to me in identity, but I will give the nod to the team that I just think has the momentum going in their favor right now to a bigger degree. I'm going with the Lions. They look good. It looks to me like they might have a bit better pass offense than the Seahawks. Maybe Geno can capture what he did last year again. I'm not saying he can't, but the Lions just look too good right now to be losing football games. They feel like that team that comes away with the win
yeah,
after a close game instead of like dropping a terrible loss. And the Seahawks, I know they're a good team. I expect them to make a playoff push, probably make the playoffs still, but I think they're going to suffer some of those heartbreaking defeats this year. They're missing some. I think just some of their key contributors need to like level up, like Jackson Smith and Jigba, for example. Give them another year, and I think this team is kind of a different team and really good again. But this season, pretty good.
Okay. Yeah. I before I give you my pick, just a quick reminder, everybody watching, we're 2 likes away from 20 likes. So we're at
Bam.
18. If we hit 20, we're doing a $25 gift card giveaway. So this is why I'm gonna actually just point this out. This is why these pick'ems are hard for you, because you decide on some teams that you're in on for the season, and then you have a hard time not picking them. So Lions, you chose to win the NFC North. So like you already have this bias towards them over the course of the season, and you're like, so in any given week, they just sort of get the nod in your book. I do have the Lions over the Seahawks. The Seahawks are tough because you don't know how good the Rams are, right? Like what Rams are we seeing here? So I have no idea on the Seahawks. I don't know where to place them, but I do know the Lions are at least good enough to be a team that I'm very confident is very good. So, assuming that, and we're in Detroit now. So yeah, I mean, give me the Lions. And also, if I'm on the fence on something, I'll lean toward the division that my team's in.
All right. Give you the Lions. We're the same through 3. So
Yep.
I'm sure that'll change here soon. John, you break open this next matchup for us. Colts at Texans.
Easy one. I talked about this one in Overtime Operators. This is like a -1 spread or something like that in favor of the Colts. I actually like that action. I have some. I'm using some of my betting budget on the Colts this week to beat a -1 spread against the Texans.
All right. Yeah, this one I think I think this one could go either way, if I'm just being completely honest about it. I do think the Texans are generally underrated. I think they're going to prove a lot of people wrong who doubt them over the course of the season and show that they're at least building towards a promising future. All that, and the Colts are really only in like the same spot. They can't, in my mind, really do much as far as going to the playoffs or things like that, probably. But at the end of the day, I'm still taking the Colts here. Anthony Richardson is just going to be enough of a weapon on his own to do enough on offense. I do think by the end of the year, mark my words, DeMeco Ryans is going to have that Texans defense firing hot, and we'll be talking about them as like this sneaky good defense and be excited about them going into next year. But yeah, this one they dropped to the Colts probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you're up on Bears at Bucks.
Bears at Bucks. Man, I love this week of matchups. Maybe it's just easier in week 2 because each team only has one game under their belt. You can write off a loss and say, hey, they're a better team than that. Or you can write off a win and be like, look, they just had a lucky matchup, whatever the case may be. And I think we have one of those here. The Buccaneers, they won. Who'd they beat last week?
They beat the Vikings.
They beat the Vikings. That's right. They beat the Vikings last week. And I think a lot of people, now that we've seen the Vikings play again, I don't know if that changes anybody's thoughts on that. But I think a lot of the reactions to that were like, are the Bucs really real here? Or was that a fluke? Right. And with the Bears, I think a lot of people were looking at that the other way. Like, man, they lost. They should have at least lost closer. And maybe they could even win some games. I do expect the Bears to be a better team in a few weeks, but I think they still have some growing pains to do with some of the moving pieces on that offense. So give me the Bucs here. I think Baker Mayfield, with his kind of already established receiving core, a little bit stronger, high-powered offense in the meantime, while Justin Fields, DJ Moore and crew kind of bake in the oven a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Bucs this week, but high on the Bears for the future.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to just follow you into picks, but I definitely have the Bucs as well.
On.
The Bears just were awful at football last year, and until they show me that they're good at football, I can't in good conscience pick them. And so we've got basically 18 straight games of the Bears being very bad at football. So, if they were playing the Buccaneers in a different game, like maybe water polo or something like that, I could maybe take the Bears in this one. Probably not water polo. Buccaneers seem like definitely they'd be good at water polo. They're Pirates, so
Justin Fields feels like a trampoline kid. Maybe if they were doing like
be like a
trampoline,
trampoline
like
park thing
trick,
or something like that. Yeah.
trick,
Yeah,
like
it
I don't
feels
know
like
what even
you see those
trampoline.
YouTube kids who do like go to trampoline parks and make YouTube
Yeah.
video. That Justin Fields has that vibe for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
I fully believe that Justin Fields has done like a full blown double backflip on like a backyard trampoline in his lifetime. He just feels like that
100%.
kind of guy to me.
Yeah, no, I mean 100%.
I
Yep,
I'd bet the
that's
house on it,
facts.
honestly.
Yeah. No, I like the Bucks here. Hey, everybody, sorry, I'm keep interrupting for this. We did just hit 20 likes, so let me tell you guys the deal. We're gonna do a $25 gift card giveaway. We're gonna give away $25 to DAP Sports, our sponsor. They have like sports memorabilia, cards, jerseys, things like that. In order to get entered, you got to go to our private watch party. There's a link in the description. It's playback.tv/triple cross. The show is on over there. There's a chat on over there. So if you're worried about missing out, you won't miss out. There's people chatting over there. You can watch the show over there. But yeah, just head over there, playback.tv/triple cross. That is where you get entered. You have to be over there in order to get entered into that $25 gift card giveaway that we will do right after we get done with these picks. So I'm going to give you guys the time who are watching this on YouTube, give you guys the time over to get over to Playback, and then we can do a spin. All right, next
Yeah,
up,
a little
Chiefs.
earlier in the day recording today, I'm noticing some of our regulars kind of head into the chat now. What's up, guys? Good to have you here. Yeah, let's get into our picks. Chiefs at Jaguars. John, that's the next match. To you first.
Yeah, so this was another one that I actually covered in Overtime Operators.
Bro, we
It's
gotta
a
make these people go actually watch that video for themselves. We can't
Yo,
just be
I'm just
leaking all
telling you
these
guys,
picks.
you know,
It
there's
was,
another
though.
one I covered for
This was a
Overtime Operators.
1,000% guaranteed victory by John. You know, at him if he's wrong. 1,000%.
I will pay you back. No, I won't do that. So yeah,
Yeah,
I liked it was a tight spread if I remember right. It's like 2 or 3 points or something like that in favor of the Chiefs. The Jaguars looked fine last week, but to me, they looked fine against the Colts, and they should look a lot better against the Colts. The Chiefs lost last week, so obviously they look bad, but I think playing kind of bad. So this is what the Jaguars did. They played kind of bad and they still won. Okay. Or they played like medium and they still won. I think that's like the worst thing that you can possibly do for momentum. Playing kind of bad and losing to the Lions, that's like the best thing I think you can possibly do for momentum besides winning big, right? Like, I don't think the Chiefs are going to drop another game this year that they're supposed to win. Like, unless it's like a good contender team, I don't think they're dropping another game this year. I think they needed that Lions loss. So give me the Chiefs in this one. Also, another team like the Bengals where it's like very hard to bet against them.
Yeah, you know, it's funny how narratives go, right? Because just in the last matchup here, like I know how I ultimately bet. When I was talking about Bears and Bucks here, you said Chiefs. I'm sorry, I'll write that in for you before I go on my diatribe here. But like I was just explaining it in the Bears and Bucks. You're talking about a team that you know people are like, does it really mean anything when they win? And a team does it really mean anything when they lose? I mean, we have that even to a bigger extent here. You just laid out the case for it without really acknowledging it, though. You're like, I don't care if the Chiefs lose. I figure out a way in my head to say now they're even for sure more going to win. I by the way, sort of believe in that case. By the way, I think I explained it to you as well that I'm on board with that take of yours. But the Jaguars here, it's really easy to overlook the Jaguars. I mean, they have been so poor since the year 2000 in general, right? Like, how many times the Jaguars made the playoffs? I mean, I don't know, but without even looking, I'd bet my right hand that I can count to as many times as they've been in the playoffs on my right hand. Like, they're not that great of a team. Maybe even maybe more like winning games in the playoffs. Let's say that just so that I can keep my right hand. But
Yeah.
this is one of those where we've moved the window on the view of this game so much to where it's like, oh yeah, the team that lost is still the better team. And that's why I'm taking the biggest upset of the week. No, I'm taking the Chiefs here as well. I believe in all the reasons you said, but the main thing is that they're getting back Chris Jones on the defensive line. I think that's one of the main reasons why they lost the Lions game to begin with. I think they would beat the Lions with Chris Jones and with Travis Kelce, who I don't believe is 100% sure to put Chris Jones, by the way, out for contract reasons. That has been settled. He's going to suit up now. Travis Kelce, probably the single biggest reason they lost to the Lions If he's back, this should be the Chiefs all day. I wonder, could we grant like if Kelsey plays, I get the Chiefs. If he doesn't, I'll take the Jags. I mean, I think that's just spicy.
I think
Like,
that's how we. I think that's
because
how. I
I
think
would
we
wait to
always have
bet on
like
it.
just been like we don't know. Like that's been a verbal
I mean,
qualifier. But
I would allow that for you too. I would allow you the same grace, like a
mhm.
contingency that we would know before the game starts. I mean, are you cool with that?
Sure, yeah,
Okay, I'll go Jags if Kelsey out, and you can hold me
okay.
to that. That'll be spicy. So I don't care about
Yeah,
Chris.
it's a good hedge. I like it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going Chiefs either way, honestly, on this one.
It's fine with me. I like that we've opened up the door now to contingencies with our picks because we're picking a couple days early. We would
Yeah.
know if we were doing a pick 'em, we would get that information first. So all right,
Yep.
moving along, trying to speed it up. John's got a hard out here in the next like 15 minutes, so I got to move
Yep.
things along. Packers at Falcons. John, you're the guy who likes to talk about Jordan Love and the Packers. I don't in general. It's not on brand for me yet. Maybe
Yeah.
I'll jump on them later, but I need to see it more before I believe it. That being said, they're going to beat the Falcons pretty handily. The Falcons just
Yeah.
not as good a team as the Packers. I imagine you're the same, but I'll let you say it for yourself.
Yeah, ironically, I don't have much to say here that I haven't already said about Jordan Love. Very, very promising. Very excited to see what he can do.
You want
Even
him
if
to
he
father
plays,
your babies. You think you
yes,
would make
he
beautiful
could
mixed
come
children.
if he wants to marry my wife and raise my children. That'd be okay with
Oh my
me. The
Nice.
I think that I would. Yeah, I just don't. I think I just don't believe in the Falcons very much. I mean, the Bears are bad. The Bears are real bad. So maybe the Falcons are better, but I don't believe in the Falcons enough to say like I would like to see another week of Jordan Love before I get super in on him. But I do think that even if he plays like okay, they can beat the Falcons.
Yeah, I'm full agreement there. All right, moving on.
Right.
Raiders at Bills. You're up first here.
Raiders at Bills. Yep. Give me Josh Allen. Same thing as the Chiefs. Coming off of going to be a revenge win here for the Bills, I think.
Man, I'm starting to wonder, John, if we're gonna have anything different on this entire sheet.
This is one of those weeks,
It really is. There's gonna be some good games, but we hit up some of those already. Some of the close, like tough to call ones. We came out the same on those. Some of these are a little bit more secure, at least in the way we look at them. I'll take the Bills as well. Jimmy G, Jacoby Myers look good. Devontae Adams somehow didn't look like the best receiver on his own team. Raiders got some soul searching to do. I don't know who they are as a football team, honestly. And the Bills, they're in their own. This game should be called like the identity crisis game of the week, like brought like the mental health like game of the week brought to you by like identity crisis like disorder or something like that. I don't know.
BetterHelp's going to sponsor this game.
Exactly. This is very like on brand for the NFL. They should really start like picking a weekly matchup and doing this. But both these teams, the Bills, we should know who they are, but they always like as soon as you think that they're this great team with a gunslinger quarterback and great defense and no bad position groups, they just start losing games out of nowhere, and it just leads you to question everything about them. That said, they're a better team than the Raiders are. I can't wait for them to get a better test against a better opponent. If they do lose to the Raiders, I mean, complete red flag on the whole season. So Bills for me. Moving on, this one should be pretty quick. I'll add in an S there for no reason while I'm typing this one out. Chargers, this was our game of the week in overtime.
We both have Chargers. You can put it down and you can move on. I think we've already said
absolutely. Chargers over Titans, and we're moving on. John, bust open the 49ers at Rams.
Like I said, the Rams are tough to know how to get a beat on. If they were playing any other team, there's maybe a handful of teams like 49ers, Dolphins, Bills, Chiefs, Bengals, those ones we've talked about where, I'm like, yeah, it's just hard to bet against them. Chargers, maybe. Yeah, Chargers I would put in there as well, probably. There's a handful of teams
those five stand out. Those five.
There's a handful of teams where I'm just sure, you know what I mean? Where it's like, it's tough to bet against those teams at this point in the season. If it were anyone else, I might, or Cowboys, I might look at the Rams and say, hey, like they look okay. But yeah, for me, got to go Niners on this one. And
I know that mean you're adding,
not trying to follow you without following you here, but I know that you're doing the same,
Yeah, you're following from behind. I get it. So just real quick, John, does that mean that you're putting the Chargers and the Cowboys into that mix of those the top five teams you rattled off quick? You
I
said
think it's more
Chiefs,
like
Bills,
I think it's like
Bengals,
I think it's more like
49ers,
7, and
Dolphins.
Eagles have to be kind of in the mix
Yeah,
as well.
Eagles.
So it's like
So you say
Eagles,
those 8 stand
Cowboys.
out to you?
Yeah, yeah, Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, Eagles, Cowboys, and then Cuspers would be like Dolphins and Chargers. I need to see more from them.
All right, interesting. So, what
And
3
Niners,
NFC teams
Niners
there?
as
Yeah,
well.
I
Yeah,
had the Niners in there. Those 8, you said 3 from the NFC and 5 from the AFC. I agree with the 5. I think some of those Cuspers, I don't quite graduate to that level yet. But I think out of those, I assume this is true. Out of those, I think only the Niners are really there for their defense. Maybe the Eagles, you would say too. The rest of them are pretty much just
I
offensive
suppose.
powerhouses. So I don't know that changes anything. Just worth noting that NFC still still seems like defensive champs. AFC still kind of rules the
Yeah,
airwaves when
air
it comes
game.
to passing offenses. All
Yep.
right, Giants at Cardinals.
I think this is a
Man, this
good
is a get
bounce.
right
Go.
game
Oh,
if I've
sorry. Go ahead.
ever seen one. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly my point. Bounce back game, get right game for Dan Jones and the Giants. I don't think that I expect them to win this week. I don't expect that to honestly mean all that much. They're going to get right, but that doesn't mean much going into week 3 if they do win this. To me, they still have to prove it again. The Cardinals are. I think it was like complete one-off that they looked as good as they did. I fully expect the Cardinals to remain the sellers that they are this season. John, Giants.
Yeah. Giants. Good bounce back game. Cardinals not even
That's
playing their main QB. So, yeah.
yeah. Jets at Cowboys.
Oh yeah,
You're up.
this is me. This is actually the hardest one for me to pick, and I think we'll probably diverge here. I can't. Where I go on games like this, where I'm like, "Oh, I am kind of waffling," is one. If I'm just talking about this game, the combination of Zach Wilson and Micah Parsons is not great for the Jets. So that's one thing, and two, it's like, I mean, can you like if you don't pick the Cowboys here, you're kind of just hating, which I think you might do. And I see that there's a case for the Jets, but the Cowboys have certainly earned a pick here. I think so. I'll go Cowboys.
Okay. I get it. I get it, John. I'm a Cowboys hater. You can call me out all the time for it. We've talked about it before. I'll probably never pick the Cowboys.
I don't like them either. I just think it's like, yeah, hard not to, unless again, we keep saying until they show me something else about teams like the Bears. Same kind of thing with the Cowboys for me. It's like, they've showed me good stuff. Like they deserve the pick for sure.
I'm going with the Cowboys. I mean, the Jets don't even. Zach
Yeah,
Wilson's their quarterback, man.
I know.
Like,
Well,
come
dude,
on.
and that's the thing is if it
What
were
are we
like,
doing? If it was Colt McCoy, maybe, but no.
maybe, but that the other problem is that like the Cowboys have like a legit DPOY candidate. You know what I mean? Like so again, other
Absolutely,
teams
they
that
do.
if they were
I
playing, I
hate
would
the
be worried.
Cowboys, and that's true, undeniably.
Yeah. Yeah. Other teams I'd be very worried about if I were the Jets are like the Niners with Bosa, the Rams with Aaron Donald. Like this is a team that's going to be putting hands on your quarterback every single play. And Zach is not the ideal. So, all right. So we got Commanders, Broncos. You're up, right?
Commanders, Broncos. These are 2 teams that I have a soft spot for. Expectations pretty low. I am generally
Yeah.
higher on them than most people. Weird. I don't think many people would have a hard time picking this game, but I do. And
Yeah.
that's the reason why. And I'm torn, honestly, between like great coaching that hasn't been around for a long time with a team that's talented in the Broncos. And torn against the team with pretty good coaching, new ownership, complete change of culture, young quarterback, unproven quarterback, good receiving core in the Commanders. That said, I mean, hey, this show's for the content anyway. I'm taking the Commanders, man. I think Sam Howell is an NFL quarterback, and it remains to be seen if Russell Wilson really, remains to be seen as an NFL quarterback.
I just a heads up, two people in the playback chat, Miguel and Jojo Mac, both chose the Raiders in the Raiders Chiefs game. Sorry, I was just getting caught up on that and it shocked me. Good for you guys.
Okay.
You know, we're not taking spreads here. This is just a pick 'em. So this is good. This is gives us a chance to diverge a little bit. I think we saw with Russ, it's tough because everybody saw him last week, you know, and it was like okay, he looks better. He looks much better. This is good. But what are we talking about here? We're still talking about losing a game to the Raiders. Like we're still talking about a dude who's maybe looks slightly better when he's losing. So it's tough. Like how many times do you got to get burned by the Broncos before you're just like, all right, I'm done?
Yeah.
For me, I think for most games, I'm not picking the Broncos until they can turn it around. But I like a bet on a turnaround in this game just because I'm rarely going to pick the Commanders as well. So yeah, I mean, Commanders are again, same thing with them. Like I think this could be a turnaround year for them. Both of these teams are like potential turnaround teams this week or this year. Yeah. Commanders, I feel, should have looked better against the Cardinals.
John, gut reaction. You picked the Broncos for this week over the Commanders. Let's just jump into the future. One of these teams made the playoffs already. It happened. Mm-hmm. Which one is it? Which one did it?
What you're saying, which one do I think is more likely to get the turnaround done?
I guess that's what I'm saying, but I like my setup better. Sure, if you want to just come to that. Yeah.
I think that's why I think we probably both chose the teams that we think that about. Or maybe you didn't. Maybe you think that the Broncos will get better throughout the season. But I do kind of think it's the Broncos because I actually don't think the Raiders are that bad. I think the Raiders are maybe a 500 team this season. And I think a close loss to the Raiders isn't bad. But yeah, you have the Broncos in the playoffs. So
I have the Broncos and not the Commanders.
Yeah.
So
I didn't take either of them.
Kind of, you didn't. So yeah, you're consistent with that. I'm inconsistent for this matchup. So hey, thus disproving your theory that I get locked into this season-long view. Apparently, I have the Commanders over the Broncos in this one, or I just think the NFC might be loaded.
I think that's what it is.
The
I think
it's a bunch of chumps. AFC bias.
Because both things could be true. The Commanders could beat the Broncos, and the Broncos it has
definitely
every game has playoff ramifications, but it has the lowest possible playoff ramifications.
Oh, sure. Yeah. All right, John. Dolphins at Patriots. You're up first on this one.
I mean, I will say that I really liked the way the Pats looked last week. They played well against the Eagles.
They did surprisingly
well. Played really well. Mac Jones looked really good. It was Tom Brady day, so he's got a day in that stadium. Which I guess is like, what I don't know what they do on Tom Brady Day, just drink weird supplements and all go by themselves and train and stuff like that.
They do everything by the dozen.
Everything by the day. Yeah, everything happens in 12s on Tom Brady Day. The Pats looked good, but
so I already put them in for you, and I will now pick. Go ahead.
Like I already said, the Dolphins. They're my sneaky. It's gonna be hard for me to pick many teams over the Dolphins until they show me otherwise. I mean, they got a guy who could put a football through a pair of Chinese handcuffs from 30 yards away.
Yikes! And what a thing there! What an imagery invoking sentence.
And they got a Tesla at wide receiver. So, they're gonna be tough to beat, I think.
Okay, John, I took the Dolphins as well. I don't need to go on another Dolphins loving thing. They're 49ers. They branched off the 49ers at this point. We all know I'm in on them as well. I like everything you said about them. Let's rapid fire. I know you got to get out of here in the next minute. We have a minute warning, 2 minute warning, maybe if you give us an extra minute of your time. Let's rapid fire through these Monday night games. I'll just do both of them real quick. These are both featured on Overtime Operators. I liked both these games. I think you were a little more hesitant to bet on either of these, but I really, really, really like the Saints and the Browns here. The Saints, I think they can just take it to the Panthers. Panthers with the Bryce Young rookie quarterback. I think he's going to be good. Can't put it together in week 2 to beat the Saints. Derek Carr looked good enough to get the job done. And the Browns defense, just too good. Steelers offense doesn't have the answers. They looked bad against the Niners defense. Browns defense, not that much worse than the Niners. So that's why I have Saints Browns here. John, who you got?
Got to give me my boy Taysom in the Saints Panthers game. Also, the Panthers just aren't good, so that's an easy one. Last week I said I would never pick the Browns until I will not pick the Browns until they show me something. Well, they've showed me something, and the Steelers have not. So I got the Browns as well.
All right. I thought I was going to get another chance to gain a game on you there.
Yeah, this is a week where there's not a lot of those like flip-flop games. There will be chances though.
Yeah, it looks like I have one chance this week to catch it. Well, I guess if the Jags
1.5
Chiefs, when Kelsey's if Kelsey doesn't play, then yeah, I got a chance there. Where is the other one? Oh, Commanders Broncos. It all hinges on that this week. The weekly winner will come from this game. I think that's about the. I mean, that's probably the most exciting thing about this game, honestly, is that that'll
honestly,
dictate the Triple Cross weekly pick'em winner. Guys, I think that John and I being in agreement in so many of these games mean in your weekly pick'em leagues, go out there and bet these games, and then flip a coin for the Commanders at Broncos. Wait till game time for the Chiefs at Jaguars game. See if Kelsey is in or out. Honestly, the Chiefs, not a bad bet either way. But if you want to get spicy, Jaguars could be a sneaky win if Kelsey's out. That's what we got for you guys this week.
Let's do one spin on here on YouTube. I'll put together a wheel really quick.
Sure.
And then you can take over to playoff, or you can take over to playback for the other spin.
Sure. So I'll do one last little plug here while John's making that wheel. We're going to show what we do over in playback after the shows are over. We do bonus wheel spins to give out sports memorabilia gift cards to our live viewers. You can still get in on that if you head into the link below. Click on the link to playback. That'll get you entered onto that wheel. Just make sure you jump in there and say, hey, I'm here in the chat, and we'll add you to that wheel. We also have 2 other giveaways in the video description that are featured. The top one of which, the first link in the video description, is that mystery NFL jersey giveaway brought to you by Overtime Operators. Remember, right here, this image shows up in your YouTube feed. Go ahead and click on that. That's where you can get all of the making money in sports advice that you want to know and have to make informed bets. Right now, focus on the NFL. We'll also cover other sports when other sports are in season. Maybe we'll talk baseball one of these days too, because I guess that is in season as well. Football being king, though. We're going to talk about that more. And then the last link, or I guess it's the middle link maybe in the actual video description. You can enter to win a jersey of your choice by joining us on Grapevine, our other private community. The Triple Cross Grapevine is a platform that is all focused around giving to different charities and donations. Right now, we're just moving some of our members over there so we can start using it in a more robust way, you might say. And if you join up right now, you can enter to win the NFL jersey of your choice. Link to that is in the description as well. That's the Grapevine link to win any NFL jersey you want. But right now, we're going to do one of 2 of our spins live here for our playback viewers who have joined us on playback. You had enough time to do it. John's got a wheel ready. Everybody on this wheel is over in the playback room right now, and John's about to give us a spin. John, you excited?
I am. So I haven't gotten anybody on playback telling me that I missed them. So I think I'm going to spin this. James Brown passed away in 2006, said Adam. Yeah, there's a James Brown in our playback chat that is just there all the time. All right. Who do you like here?
If you're listening on audio, show up live to one of our live podcast recordings. Go over to YouTube. Even if you're listening to this way after the fact, go to YouTube, click on the bell icon so you get informed when we go live. Just join us one time. Give us one shot. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow or to show up to the TCP live recordings. Join us here, and you can win yourself some sports memorabilia. Credits to go get some sports memorabilia you want from DAP Sports. John, I'm going to bet on, I'm going to go with a guy who's been winning lately. He's been showing up again more as we're talking about football stuff. I'm going with a blast from the past. Adam's sworn rival, Romy Andrew Romero. Ooh, that's why I got on.
I picked Romy in the last spin last week, and it was a good pick. Casey, I never miss a chance to blow. So I think this time I got to go with, I don't know how I'm going to relate that to any of these people. Let's go with Huey. No, I don't know. Not Huey. I like Miguel. Let's go Miguel.
Ooh. Miguel Huey's going to win out of spite. Huey wasn't going to win, but now he is going to, just to spite you.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think Miguel's due. That's what I'm feeling. All right, here we go.
Okay. And away we go.
Not gonna be Miguel. Not gonna be Romy. Oh no!
Romy. Oh,
an Adam win.
Adam won despite me picking Romy.
Adam does.
Adam, the career leader in earnings from the Triple Cross podcast. I mean, dude's probably hit 4 figures by now. Close to it, I imagine. Honestly, Adam, congrats again. You are champ, sir. And I think I got Adam we're in 2 fantasy football leagues together. Fun fact of the day. I played him in one league last week, and I play him in the other one this week. I think I lost to him in the first one. So I'm hoping I can beat you this week, Adam. So
Adam offered Felix and I a trade this week that, to me, honestly looks a little soft. But I'll have to talk to you about that another time.
Adam, you got to get hard, bro. Come on.
Yeah, I'm going to need you to get hard and stay hard. All right, that's the pod. If you are listening on audio, rate, review, like Casey said, and we will see you next time. YouTube people, head over to playback.tv/triplecross. If you haven't already, we're going there now. Bye-bye.
Don't forget to check out Overtime Operators on YouTube and your podcast apps.
Bye.